Hello, dear friends. Tonight, you don't need to rush. You don't need to think about tomorrow or carry the weight of the day behind you. This moment is only for rest. As the rain gently touches the world outside, allow your breath to slow. Let every sound guide you deeper into calm. With each word you hear, your body begins to soften, and your mind slowly drifts. This story is not meant to be followed, understood, or remembered. It is only meant to be felt. Like rain on a quiet night. The rain had already begun before anyone noticed it. Not suddenly. Not loudly. Just a quiet tapping, soft and patient, touching the windows as if asking permission to enter. The night felt wide and slow. Streetlights glowed gently through the mist, their reflections stretching across wet roads like tired thoughts finally lying down. Somewhere far away, a car passed, its sound fading almost before it could be heard. Inside this moment, nothing demanded attention. The world was not asking questions. It was only breathing. Slowly. Evenly. Each raindrop fell without urgency, without purpose, simply following gravity's calm instruction. You could feel the day loosening its grip. The weight of hours softened. Memories drifted like fog, present but no longer sharp. The rain did not hurry them away. It let them stay. And as the rain continued, the night opened a quiet space. A space where nothing needed fixing. A space where rest could begin, gently, without effort. The rain grew steadier, but never louder. It found its rhythm and stayed there, content. Each drop landed, paused, and disappeared, making room for the next. Some windows were still lit. Behind them, lives moved slowly. A cup placed on a table. A curtain adjusted. A light turned off without ceremony. Outside, the air smelled clean, as if the rain was washing the day away one small piece at a time. The streets did not shine brightly. They glowed softly, like something remembered rather than seen. There was a sense that something might happen. Not something loud. Not something important. Just a feeling, resting quietly beneath the rain, like a story waiting to be told when the moment felt right. But the rain did not rush that moment. It understood patience. It understood waiting. And so it continued, steady and calm, wrapping the night in a gentle, listening silence. Time felt different under the rain. Minutes did not stack up. They drifted. They dissolved. The sound of water moving along rooftops and down narrow paths became almost comforting, like a familiar voice speaking without words. Nothing needed answering. Nothing needed reacting. Somewhere, a tree shifted slightly, its leaves heavy with rain. The movement was slow, careful, as if the tree itself did not wish to disturb the quiet. The rain carried small secrets. Not secrets meant to be solved. Just quiet things, carried briefly before being placed gently back into the night. And in this calm repetition, the mind began to wander less. Thoughts shortened. Spaces grew longer. The world felt simpler, reduced to sound, shadow, and breath. The rain continued its work, not changing anything, yet somehow making everything softer. The night deepened, but never darkened. Clouds drifted slowly overhead, holding the rain close, keeping it gentle. Windows fogged slightly, blurring the edges of the world outside. Shapes lost their sharpness. Lines became suggestions. The rain tapped on glass, not to wake, but to remind. To remind that this moment was safe. That nothing unexpected would arrive. That the night had no demands. Even the silence between raindrops felt intentional, carefully placed. A pause. A breath. A space to rest inside. The feeling of curiosity remained, but it softened too. It no longer searched. It simply existed, floating quietly beneath the rain, content to stay unresolved. And so the night held everything gently, allowing calm to settle deeper with every passing second. The rain slowed, just slightly, as if listening to itself. It did not stop. It adjusted. The world outside felt distant now, like a story heard through another room. Present, but no longer demanding attention. Breathing became slower without instruction. Shoulders loosened. The body understood what the mind no longer needed to decide. The rain had done its work quietly. It had carried the noise away. It had softened the edges of thought. It had made room for rest. Nothing concluded. Nothing ended. The night simply continued, calm and steady, holding the quiet curiosity gently, like a closed book resting beside the bed. And in the sound of rain, the world waited, unhurried, peaceful, and still. The rain did not stop. It softened. As if it knew the world was listening. Each drop landed with care. Not loud. Not sudden. Just present. Somewhere in the distance, thunder whispered instead of speaking. It rolled gently across the sky, never breaking the calm, only reminding the night that it was alive. The air felt cooler now, cleaner, as if the rain had washed more than streets and rooftops. It washed thoughts. It washed worries. Breathing slowed without effort. In. Out. Each breath syncing with the rhythm of falling rain. Nothing needed attention. Nothing asked for movement. The night held everything perfectly still. Windows glowed softly in the darkness. Not bright. Just enough to feel safe. Behind those windows, lives rested quietly. Dreams unfolding slowly. Unrushed. Unforced. The rain traced invisible paths down the glass. Lines forming. lines fading, like thoughts that came and went without staying. Somewhere, a clock ticked, not demanding time, only marking it. The world felt far away now. Problems belonged to another place, another hour, another self. Here, there was only warmth, only sound, only the gentle promise that nothing needed to happen next. The street lay empty beneath the rain. No footsteps, no voices, only reflections trembling on wet stone. Light bent and stretched across the ground. Golden, soft, alive. Every puddle held a piece of the sky. Clouds drifting slowly inside water. Stars hiding patiently above. The night breathed again, long and slow, like a lullaby without words. Muscles loosened, shoulders dropped. The body remembered how to rest. Nothing followed. Nothing chased. The rain led everything gently towards sleep. A deeper quiet settled in. Not silence. Something warmer. Rain continued its steady promise. One drop. Then another. Then another. Thoughts softened at the edges. Sharp lines blurred. Meanings became gentle feelings instead of words. The mind drifted like mist, floating, unanchored, safe. Time lost its shape. Minutes stretched into calm. Seconds melted into breath. The night did not rush sleep. It waited patiently, knowing rest always arrives on its own. Rain grew lighter now, still present, still steady, but quieter. Clouds moved slowly overhead, heavy but kind, holding the sky together. The world felt wrapped, protected, cradled by darkness and sound. Breathing became deeper, longer, more natural. Nothing remained unfinished. Nothing remained undone. This moment was complete. And as rain continued its soft conversation with the earth, sleep drew closer. Without asking, without effort, the rain continued. Not louder, not softer, just steady. Each drop falling exactly where it needed to fall. As if the night itself was breathing. Slow. Deep. Unhurried. The air felt cooler now. Clean. Washed. Every breath carried the scent of wet earth and distant leaves. The kind of smell that reminds the body it is safe. Reminds the mind that nothing is required anymore. Somewhere far away, a soft rumble of thunder rolled. Not sharp. Not frightening. Just a gentle sound passing through the sky. Like a blanket being adjusted. The world felt wrapped. Protected. Held in place by rain and darkness. Thoughts slowed. Muscles loosened. And without effort, the night invited deeper rest. Rain traced slow lines across windows. Downward. Always downward. Each drop leaving a tiny path. Then disappearing. Just like thoughts do, when you stop holding them. Inside the quiet, nothing needed attention. No clocks. No plans. No unfinished moments. Only this soft present. This gentle now. The mind began to wander. Not toward worries, but toward softness. Toward memories without sharp edges. Moments that feel warm, even when they are far away. The rain did not interrupt those thoughts. It carried them. Rocked them slowly. Like waves rocking something fragile and precious. And little by little, thinking became heavier. Slower. Until even thinking felt optional. The night grew deeper. Not darker. Deeper. Rain softened every sound. Footsteps vanished. Distances blurred. The world shrank into something small and manageable. Streetlights glowed through mist. Their reflections trembling gently in puddles. Never still. Never rushed. Just moving enough to feel alive. The body responded. Shoulders lowered. Jaw unclenched. Breathing found its own rhythm again. Slow in. Slow out. Nothing pulled attention outward anymore. Everything drifted inward. Toward warmth. Toward rest. Rain continued its quiet work. Washing. Soothing. Preparing the night for sleep. Somewhere between waking and dreaming. The rain changed. It was still rain. But it felt closer now. More personal. As if it knew you were listening. Drops tapped softly. Not asking for entry. Just reminding you that you are not alone in the night. The darkness no longer felt empty. It felt full. Filled with calm. Filled with patience. Filled with time. Breathing slowed again. Deeper this time. Heavier. The kind of breath that belongs to sleep. Rain wrapped around the silence. And silence wrapped around you. Nothing left to do. Nothing left to carry. The world settled. Completely. Rain became a background hum. A soft, endless rhythm. No beginning. No end. Thoughts faded like reflections in water. First blurred, then gone. The body sank deeper. Supported. Relaxed. At ease. This was the moment the night had been guiding you toward. No effort required. No awareness needed. Just rest. Rain continued outside. Sleep arrived inside. Slowly. Gently. Naturally. And the night held everything together. Without asking anything in return. The rain had softened now, as if the sky itself was slowing down. Each drop touched the earth gently, creating a quiet rhythm that felt calm and familiar. Time no longer rushed forward. There was no past to chase, no future to worry about. Only this moment existed. The darkness outside the window was deep, yet comforting. Not the kind of darkness that hides things, but the kind that holds them safely. A cool breeze moved the curtain slightly, and with it came a sense of peace, settling slowly into the body. Far away, a low roll of thunder whispered across the sky. It wasn't loud. It wasn't frightening. It sounded more like an old friend reminding you that you are not alone. The smell of rain filled the air, rich and earthy, carrying memories with it. Memories of quiet evenings, slow nights, moments when life felt simple. With every breath, the body relaxed a little more. Tension dissolved gently, melting into the sound of falling rain. Raindrops tapped softly against the window. Tap, tap, tap. Like a lullaby meant only for you. Thoughts began to slow down. The mind no longer jumped from one idea to another. Everything flowed smoothly, like a calm river moving in the dark. The night wrapped itself around you, warm and protective. The rain became a blanket, covering every worry, every unfinished thought. A faint glow appeared in the distance, blurred by the rain. It didn't demand attention. It simply existed. Quiet. Gentle. Your breathing matched the rhythm of the rain now. Slow. Deep. Even. The body felt heavy in the best possible way, fully supported by rest. Sleep stood nearby, waiting patiently, never rushing, never forcing its way in. Night and rain blended together, becoming one. Silence and sound no longer felt separate. The mind reached a peaceful stillness, free of questions and effort. The rain continued somewhere far away, like the background of a dream. Eyelids grew heavier. The heart felt light. Everything was safe. Everything was calm. And without trying, sleep arrived naturally, softly, carrying you into rest. As the rain slowly softened, the night seemed to breathe more gently. The world outside did not stop, but it slowed down, as if it knew this moment was meant for rest. Each drop that touched the ground felt like a quiet promise, reminding the earth that calm always follows chaos. The air felt cleaner, lighter, almost kind. Somewhere in the distance, the rain whispered stories no one needed to understand. They were not meant for the mind, but for the heart. And as the silence grew deeper, a strange sense of safety wrapped itself around everything, like a warm blanket in the dark. Time began to lose its sharp edges. Minutes felt longer, softer, less demanding. The sound of rain blended with the quiet hum of the night, creating a rhythm that gently guided thoughts away. There was no need to remember the day, no need to plan tomorrow. The world asked for nothing now. Even worry seemed to step back, standing at a respectful distance. In this space, nothing rushed. Nothing insisted. Everything simply existed, calmly and without effort, just as it was meant to be. Somewhere between wakefulness and dreams, the rain became a guide. Each drop felt like a step deeper into rest, leading the mind toward stillness. The darkness no longer felt empty, it felt full of peace. Shadows rested quietly, and the night held its breath, protecting this fragile calm. Thoughts drifted like slow-moving clouds, never staying too long, never causing disturbance. The world felt distant now, as if it belonged to another place, another time, far away from this gentle moment. The rain began to fade, but its presence remained. Like an echo, it lingered softly in the air, reminding everything to stay slow. The silence that followed was not loud or uncomfortable, it was smooth and welcoming. In this quiet, the body felt heavier, sinking naturally into rest. Breathing became deeper without effort. Nothing needed to be changed. Nothing needed to be fixed. The night had done its work, washing away the sharpness of the day, leaving only softness behind. Now, the world rested completely. The rain had said its final words and slipped away, leaving peace in its place. Darkness settled gently, not as an ending, but as a pause. A safe pause. In this moment, sleep came not as a command, but as an invitation. And the mind, tired yet calm, accepted it willingly. Wrapped in quiet and comfort, everything drifted naturally into rest, knowing that morning could wait. The night had fully settled into its deepest state now. Not asleep. Not awake. But somewhere in between. The air felt still, as if it had decided not to move unless it truly needed to. Rain was no longer falling loudly. It had become a distant memory, a soft echo resting far away. Inside this calm, the mind stopped searching. It stopped asking questions. Thoughts appeared slowly, gently, and then drifted away without effort. Breathing became deeper, heavier, more natural. Each breath felt like it belonged exactly where it was. Nothing rushed it. Nothing interrupted it. The body sank further into comfort, as if the surface beneath it had learned how to hold weight perfectly. Muscles released one by one. Not all at once, but patiently. This moment did not demand awareness. It only offered rest. And the night waited quietly, allowing sleep to arrive in its own time. Somewhere far beyond thought, a gentle rhythm continued. Not a sound exactly. More like a feeling. It moved slowly, like waves in complete darkness. Each movement steady. Each pause intentional. The world outside had grown distant. So distant that it no longer felt connected to responsibility or memory. Only shapes remained. Soft impressions. Safe shadows. The mind floated here, unanchored, unbothered. There was no effort in floating. It simply happened. Breaths came and went without being noticed. The chest rose. The chest fell. Again. Again. Even time seemed to soften, stretching quietly instead of moving forward. Minutes blended together. Edges disappeared. In this space, sleep did not need to be invited. It was already nearby. Waiting calmly. Certain it would be welcomed. The darkness felt warm now. Not heavy. Not empty. Warm. It wrapped itself around everything gently, like a familiar blanket. The kind that carries no weight, only comfort. Any remaining thoughts slowed to a crawl. They lost their urgency. Their sharpness. Their meaning. Nothing needed to be remembered. Nothing needed to be solved. The night had taken care of everything already. Somewhere deep inside, the body recognized this signal. A quiet understanding. A knowing without words. The jaw softened. The shoulders lowered. The hands rested fully. This was the moment just before dreams begin. The quiet doorway. The gentle threshold. And without resistance, awareness began to fade. Smoothly. Naturally. Peacefully. Now, the world existed only as sensation. Soft. Muted. Distant. Sound had almost disappeared. Light had no definition. Even the idea of space felt different here. The mind no longer followed thoughts. It rested beneath them. Like water beneath the surface. Breathing was slow and deep, guided by something older than thought. Something steady. Something wise. Sleep moved closer, not as a sudden change, but as a gentle drift. Like fog rolling quietly across a field at night. Nothing pulled attention back. Nothing called from the outside. Everything agreed it was time to let go. The night held this stillness carefully, protecting it, allowing it to deepen without interruption. At last, even awareness softened. Not gone. Just quiet. The body rested fully now, supported completely by the calm beneath it. Breathing continued on its own. Steady. Safe. The night had completed its work. Rain had passed. Thoughts had faded. Tension had dissolved. What remained was only rest. Pure and uncomplicated. Sleep unfolded gently, without edges or effort. Like sinking slowly into warm water. There was nothing left to do. Nothing left to hear. Nothing left to hold. And in this final softness, the mind drifted away. Carried by silence. Protected by darkness. Resting deeply. At last. The night continued to hold everything in place. Nothing moved unless it needed to. Nothing spoke unless it mattered. In this stillness, the mind no longer tried to understand where it was going. It simply allowed itself to be carried. The feeling of the body became distant, softer at the edges. Arms felt heavier. Legs felt warmer. The space between each breath grew wider. There was a quiet trust in this moment. A knowing that nothing would be lost by resting. Nothing important would disappear. The darkness did not feel endless. It felt complete. Like a circle gently closing. Thoughts no longer formed sentences. They became impressions. Shadows of ideas. And slowly, without announcement, awareness drifted deeper. Into a place where effort no longer existed. Somewhere beneath consciousness, calm continued its steady work. It softened every sharp corner. Smoothed every remaining edge. The night felt wide here. Not empty, but open. There was room to rest without being watched. Room to breathe without being measured. Room to exist without explanation. The rhythm of breathing became almost unnoticeable. In. Out. In. Out. Time felt distant now. Not gone. Just unimportant. Nothing pulled attention forward. Nothing dragged it backward. Everything rested in the middle. This was the quiet center the night had been guiding you toward. A place where sleep waits patiently. Never rushing. Never demanding. The world had faded into something gentle and abstract. Sounds were no longer clear. Light no longer had shape. Even the idea of the body softened. It felt supported from every side. As if the night itself had learned how to hold weight. Breathing moved on its own, guided by instinct rather than thought. Slow. Even. Comfortable. There was nothing left to solve. Nothing left to prepare for. The day had already passed. Tomorrow had not yet arrived. Only this space remained. Quiet. Protected. Sleep drew closer, not as a sudden change, but as a gentle blending. Awareness thinning. Edges dissolving. effort fading away. Here, the night felt almost timeless. Not long. Not short. Just steady. The mind no longer followed direction. It rested in stillness, floating without resistance. Any remaining tension released quietly, without instruction. The body knew what to do. It always had. Warmth spread gently through the chest and shoulders. A subtle signal of safety. Of rest. Nothing disturbed this balance. No sudden sound. No sharp thought. Everything remained slow and kind. Sleep was no longer something approaching. It had already arrived, blending softly into awareness, until awareness itself began to fade. Now, there was almost nothing left to notice. Only calm. Only rest. The night held everything quietly, without effort or expectation. Breathing continued somewhere in the background. Gentle. Reliable. Thoughts no longer appeared. They had finished their work. The body rested fully, deeply, completely. Supported by silence. Protected by darkness. Sleep settled in without edges, without movement, without sound. Not as an ending, but as a soft continuation. And in this peaceful stillness, everything drifted deeper. Wrapped in quiet. Carried by the night. Resting at last. The rain had changed its rhythm. It was no longer a gentle whisper on the rooftops. It had become heavier, deeper, as if the sky itself was trying to speak. Inside the old house, the air felt thick with unspoken memories. Every drop that hit the window sounded like a knock from the past. He stood still in the dim hallway, listening carefully, wondering whether the rain was hiding something or revealing it. The walls smelled of damp wood and forgotten stories. A faint sound echoed from somewhere deep within the house, slow, uneven, almost like footsteps, but softer. His heart beat faster, not from fear alone, but from curiosity. Some secrets do not want to stay buried, and tonight, the rain seemed determined to wash them to the surface. Lightning flashed, briefly illuminating the room in a pale white glow. For a split second, everything became clear. The cracked ceiling, the dusty furniture, and a door at the far end that he had not noticed before. The rain roared outside, masking every other sound, yet inside his mind, silence screamed. He moved toward the door, each step slow and careful, as if the floor itself might remember him. The handle was cold, almost wet, though no water touched it. When he placed his hand on it, a strange calm settled over him. The rain softened, turning into a steady, patient drizzle, as if waiting. He took a breath and realized that whatever lay beyond this door had been waiting much longer than he had. As the door opened, the scent of rain mixed with old paper and time-worn ink. Shelves lined the narrow room, filled with notebooks, letters, and photographs curled at the edges. Water dripped from the ceiling into a small metal bowl, creating a slow, echoing rhythm that matched his pulse. Outside, the rain continued its endless fall, but in this room, time felt suspended. He picked up a notebook at random, its pages trembling slightly in his hands. The words inside were familiar, painfully so. They spoke of promises made under rainy skies and choices left unfinished. The storm outside grew quieter, as if listening, while inside him, emotions stirred that he thought had long been washed away. Thunder rolled in the distance, low and tired, like an old warning. He sat down on the floor, surrounded by memories that the rain had guided him to. Each photograph told a story, each letter whispered a regret. The sound of rain slipping through broken tiles felt comforting now, almost protective. He realized that the storm was not there to frighten him, but to remind him. Some nights are meant for remembering, some rains are meant for healing. As he read the final letter, his hand stopped shaking. The house no longer felt empty. The rain outside slowed, turning softer, kinder, as if acknowledging his acceptance. When he finally stepped outside, the storm had nearly passed. The rain fell lightly, touching the earth with care instead of force. Puddles reflected the dim streetlights, shimmering like quiet mirrors. He looked back at the old house one last time, understanding that it had shared its secrets because the night and the rain had allowed it. The air felt cleaner, lighter. With each step away, the sound of rain faded, but its message remained clear in his heart. Some journeys begin with curiosity, but they end with peace. And sometimes, all it takes is a rainy night to guide you toward the truth you were never really lost from. The rain continued to fall softly, as if the sky itself was breathing in slow, steady rhythms. Each drop touched the ground with gentle patience, reminding the night that there was no hurry. Inside the quiet room, the world felt distant and harmless. Thoughts that once felt heavy now began to loosen, like leaves drifting away on a calm stream. The darkness was not empty, it was comforting, wrapping everything in peace. With every passing second, the mind felt lighter, calmer, and more willing to rest. Outside, the sound of rain blended with the faint whisper of the wind, creating a natural lullaby. There was nothing to solve, nothing to chase, and nowhere to go. Time slowed down, stretching softly like a long, quiet breath. The body relaxed, shoulders sinking, heartbeat finding a gentle rhythm. Even memories that once caused restlessness now felt distant and harmless, fading quietly into the background. This moment belonged only to rest, silence, and gentle surrender. The night grew deeper, and the rain seemed to understand the need for calm. Its rhythm became slower, softer, almost like a caring presence watching over everything. Each breath felt easier than the last. The mind stopped wandering and chose stillness instead. Worries dissolved, melting into the quiet hum of the rain. There was a sense of safety in knowing that nothing was required, only rest, only calm, only peaceful sleep waiting patiently. In this peaceful darkness, even silence felt alive. The rain carried away tired thoughts, washing the mind clean with every drop. The body felt warm and heavy, perfectly supported by the stillness around it. Muscles relaxed naturally, without effort. Sleep no longer felt distant, it felt close, gentle, and welcoming. The night offered rest without asking anything in return, allowing the soul to drift slowly toward comfort. As the rain softened further, the world seemed to fade into a dreamlike quiet. Breathing became slow and deep, matching the calm rhythm of the night. The mind gently let go, releasing the day completely. Nothing remained except peace, warmth, and the soft promise of rest. Wrapped in this calm moment, sleep arrived naturally, like a quiet friend, staying close until morning light would return. The rain had almost finished telling its story. What remained was a gentle aftersound, a quiet reminder resting in the air. The night felt deeper now, not darker, but calmer. As if everything had finally agreed to rest. Breathing slowed without effort. Each breath settled naturally into the body, heavy and warm. The chest rose gently, then fell again. Thoughts no longer came in words. They arrived as soft impressions, like distant lights seen through fog. Nothing demanded attention. Nothing asked to be held. The body understood this moment well. Muscles released in their own time. The jaw softened. The hands rested fully. This was not a moment to stay awake. It was a moment to drift. To allow the night to finish its quiet work. And slowly, the edges of awareness began to blur. Silence grew wider, stretching gently in all directions. Not empty silence. Comfortable silence. The world outside no longer felt separate. Rain, air, darkness, breath, all blended together softly. The mind stopped checking itself. Stopped wondering if sleep had arrived yet. There was no need to know. Each breath became slower than the last. Deeper. More settled. The body felt supported completely, as if the surface beneath it had learned exactly how to hold weight. Nothing pressed. Nothing pulled. Time lost its shape here. Seconds did not move forward. They simply rested. This was the quiet middle of the night, where nothing changes and nothing needs to. And in that stillness, sleep waited patiently. Already close. Already kind. The night now felt like a soft container, holding everything gently. No sharp edges. No sudden movement. Any remaining thoughts slowed until they dissolved entirely. Like mist fading into the dark. Breathing continued somewhere in the background, steady and calm, no longer needing attention. The body trusted it completely. Warmth spread slowly through the shoulders and chest, a quiet signal of safety. Of rest. Of release. Nothing from the day remained important here. Nothing from tomorrow had arrived yet. Only this deep, peaceful pause existed. Sleep did not come as a sudden drop. It came as a gradual blending, awareness thinning gently, edges softening. Until effort itself disappeared. The night remained still, allowing this transition to happen naturally. Here, even the idea of staying awake faded. There was no decision involved. No moment of letting go. It simply happened. The body rested deeply now, completely aligned with the calm around it. Breathing slow. Heart steady. Mind quiet. Darkness felt warm and familiar, like returning to a place that had always been waiting. There were no dreams yet. Only deep rest. Only silence. Nothing interrupted this state. No sound. No thought. No movement. Sleep settled fully, wrapping everything in softness. Not as an ending, but as a continuation of peace. The night held this moment carefully, allowing it to deepen without disturbance. At last, awareness became very light, almost transparent. Breathing moved gently on its own, calm and reliable. The body rested without effort, fully supported by silence. The rain had gone. The world had quieted. The night had completed its gentle work. Nothing remained to be noticed. Nothing needed attention. Sleep now rested fully in place, deep and undisturbed. A soft, steady stillness filled everything. And in this final calm, the mind drifted completely, carried by quiet, protected by darkness, resting deeply, peacefully, until morning light would return. The rain continues, soft and steady, as the world grows quieter. Thoughts fade, worries loosen their grip, and sleep arrives naturally. There is nothing left to hold on to. Nothing left to solve. Only rest. As this story gently comes to an end, your sleep continues. Deep, peaceful, and uninterrupted. See you soon. Good night, dear friends.